back to the channel. Today's video, I want to talk to you guys about this little gizmo right here. It's the power steering filter that is installed in Mercedes CL500s that have the dual ABC power steering reservoir. When it's shared like this, you have two different compartments that don't mix the fluids together. The top section in this part is for the ABC suspension, and the lower section is for power steering. They both use the same fluid. Inside this cap, there is a filter, and they both use typically CHF11S, the expensive ABC fluid or hydraulic fluid. CHF11S is the synthetic version from Pentosin, and it's expensive, about $40 a liter. The alternative is their EHF, which is an organic fluid. Both are the same. Both can be used either for ABC or power steering, and both can be mixed together. So you could use one to top off the other if you use them. The EHF is a lot cheaper at about $19 per liter. Again, CHF11S, the synthetic, is about $40. You can typically find them online for. So in this cap right here on the power steering reservoir, right underneath the cap, there is a filter. This is the part from Mercedes-Benz. I don't recommend buying generic third-party parts. The Mercedes part is pretty cheap at about $10. This is the part number. You can get it online from various vendors. Buy the original. It's well worth it. The awkward thing about it is if you look for it, some websites call this self-leveling filter. They don't call it the power steering filter. So just look up the part number and order this for about $10. It's simple, easy insurance, something that should be replaced every, 30,000 miles. Do it more frequently if you care about your system. It really should be combined with a fluid flush for the power steering system to make sure that it stays clean and it's green instead of being black. There's various ways to flush the power steering fluid by removing the hose that's attached to the return line that goes into that cap, attaching a plastic tube to that, and then if you can raise the car up on jacks, you can turn the wheel back and forth, even with the engine off. I recommend only with the engine off. This will extract the fluid from the reservoir or the entire power steering system and push it out. Today, I'm not going to do that though. I'm just demonstrating the switch over the filter and a basic minor flush of the fluid by extracting it from the reservoir using a syringe. This is a partial replacement of the fluid. I'm doing that because I'm about to change my power steering pump from the ABC to a regular pump. So the flush will be done at a later date. To open up this cap though, sometimes it's really stubborn, so you want to open up the clip that's undo the clip at the top. The hose may be really baked on and hard on the reservoir cap, so you really just need to pry it loose, maybe spray a little bit of penetrating oil and I mean a really small amount, under the hose so that it will loosen up as you turn it. The alternative would be to trim the hose back a little bit, and but this little pry tool can be helped to create that gap between the plastic and the hose itself. Again, PV Blaster, a little couple of drops of this is all that's needed in between the hose and the plastic tube to create a little lubrication. But you pry it in there slowly to loosen it up, and that can allow you to take off the cap. So use any type of extraction pump or a syringe available at any of the part stores. You just put that into the reservoir. Got a fairly large one here that can take out a lot of liquid. Extract the liquid. You can see it's fairly brown, not ideal. Empty that out. Again, this is a partial fluid replacement, not a complete flush by any means. Figure it's better than nothing as far as improving the quality of the fluid in the system. Some cars, when you extract this, it'll come out black, in which case you really have deteriorated fluid, which is not helping your power steering system. Do this frequently. If you can afford to, do it every 10,000 miles, otherwise 20,000. Try to monitor it, take a look at it as time goes by, but don't neglect it, because a new rack and pinion system is a lot more expensive than fluid. This is the filter, which is held onto the cap with a pressure spring. To take it out, you just push that spring in, which will release the pressure. There's a hook that will come out from a clip. If you need to, you could push it against the heat shield of the reservoir tank, and that helps. Then remove the spring. There's also a little rubber grommet there. That's the old filter. And the new filter is installed. There's no direction to it. Just put the grommet and the spring back in. You'll need to compress the spring to push it through. And that little hook will fit into a little clip section on that cap. All right, so we have a empty reservoir. We fill it up with your Pentosan EHF or CHF fluid. Fill it up all the way to the top. And then what we'll do is we'll turn the steering wheel to get any air out of the system and circulate the fluid in. Okay, with the reservoir cap plug closed, you get in your car, put the car into accessory 2. Don't turn on the car, you don't need to. Just put the key in position 2, start turning the steering wheel side to side. Do this about 15, 20, 30 times, back and forth completely. This will circulate the fluid throughout the system, get rid of any air in the system. It should be very minimal in this if you're doing a very partial fluid swap, because we did not introduce much air into the system at all. You can stop after about 10 or 20 turns and take a look at the reservoir, see if it's low on fluid. If it is, top it up a little more. It's very simple, very easy. It doesn't have any of the concerns of the full fluid flush where you're doing this and needing to constantly add fluid because you're taking fluid out through the return line. Just do this back and forth and you're pretty much done with the whole process at that point. Thanks for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, and leave your comments below.